Hi folks, Job Lot Comics here, having a look at another UK-based Marvel magazine. This is Captain Britain magazine that was launched in 1985, and it came off the back of the rise in the popularity of the character after he sort of lost his own weekly comic that was the sort of Chris Claremont-inspired superhero fare, and then Alan Moore would get hold of the character and provide us the adventures of Captain Britain with a real sci-fi slant in Daredevil's magazine, which is a British anthology comic that used to reprint old stuff, but it did have new Captain Britain stories in it. And then Captain Britain would get his own magazine again, yeah, so here's Captain Britain Monthly. Britain's only active superhero has finally made it back to his own title, and we finally got to the bookstalls both here and across the Atlantic. Launching the title in 2 continents simultaneously has meant we've had to keep the Captain's fans in the UK waiting a little while for his return. So there's the content. So you see there's Captain Britain there, Absalom, Dalek Killer, Night Raven, Paragon of Pain Thought Street, and the Freefall Warrior. So you can see they've went for that usual UK type of thing where they did lots of different stories. Of course, it's in black and white. Keep the costs down. This is issue 1 of the comic, and I thought some of you out there might be interested in the Captain Britain story. Now, credits. You'll know these names, Jamie Delano and Alan Davis. Down here is co-creators of this version of Captain Britain. And Davis's work is just phenomenal. And Jamie Delano really had a good handle on the character and gave it a very grown-up and a very 1980s type feel. Delano had also been writing for DC. He did pretty much flesh out the whole Hellblazer comic with John Constantine. Although Alan Moore did create that character, I would argue that it was Jamie Delano that gave him much of his lore and his backstory and his presence. There's the original Captain Britain, if you remember that. I think Alan Moore pretty much chose Jamie Delano to continue with the story that he had started on Daredevils. That could be wrong though, I might be making that up. So you can see that it's not your usual kind of superhero-y stuff just at this point here. It is very much a more mature title. And Davis's artwork is just phenomenal. And that was it. There you go. That's how that would work. And then the next story you're into is Absalom, Dalek Killer, a favourite for Doctor Who fans. Another great strip here. Then you would get Night Raven, and it's got David Lloyd artwork. Does this look familiar? It should, because it's David Lloyd who drew V for Vendetta, so you can see a lot of parallels with that kind of thing going on here. Then we have a text story with illustrations, and then the Freefall Warriors. Steve Parkhausen, Terry Paris doing the chores on this. I'll just flick through it for you because I don't imagine you'll be familiar with this story. And then that was you. So that was Captain Britain magazine from 1985. A fantastic run. It didn't do very well. I think it lasted just over a year. And then it was cancelled. It was hard to keep these UK magazines afloat unless you were 2000 AD. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed looking at that. And if you did, you might want to subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.